Hey y'all, this is Gracietheyogi, and this is part 2 of important message, take y'all kids out of public schools. Okay, so in the first part I talked about how I had a dream, and I'm reading this book, and here goes more confirmation. The universe does not lie. Braiding Sweetgrass is a book about indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and the teaching of plants. So I'm gonna read y'all this this paragraph, and I want y'all to really listen to this. And this is also a book that I'm reading for school, so I'm really excited about this. Okay. The federal government's Indian removal policies wrenched many native people from our homelands. It separated us from our traditional knowledge and life ways. The bones of our ancestors are sustaining plants, but even this did not extinguish identity. So even when they took us away from our land and all this other stuff happened, wars happened, that did not extinguish who we are. So the government tried a new tool, separating children from their families and cultures, sending them far away to school long enough, they hoped, to make them forget who they are. Throughout Indian territory, there are records of Indian agents being paid a bounty for rounding up kids to ship to the government boarding schools. Later, in a pretense of choice, the parents had to sign papers to let their children go legally. Parents who refused could go to jail, and this is actually ironic. If your kid is in public school, you can, and they miss days of school and stuff like that, you can actually be convicted. There was actually a story of a black woman who, her child had sickle cell. She was really sick, and she had to miss days of school, and they took her to jail, and they tried her. So this is actually a real thing. But I don't think it's illegal to homeschool your children. I mean, I was homeschooled, ain't nothing happened to me. But that's the thing, you have to be homeschooling them, and every laws in different states is different, but we'll dive into that another time. Some parents have hoped it would give their children a better future than a Dust Bowl farm. Sometimes federal nations weave leaf flour and rancid land or lard that were supposed to replace the buffalo would be withheld until the children would sign over. So basically, they held their livestock until the children were signed over. So anyway, that's more confirmation from what I was saying. Like I say, the woman is the first teacher of the children. And some of what the government has done was created this whole war against men and women, especially in the black community. And basically, it's just to divide our family unit. And with the man and the woman in the family working, the aunts and uncles working, you send your children to public school because you're too busy working, and the public school is basically spending more time with your children than you're even spending with your children, which gives them more power and control over your children. Basically, they're raising the children. And then y'all wonder why these kids, especially today, is turning out crazy. They don't want to, they confused, they don't want to do things, they're troubled. And really, a lot of that stuff roots back to the family dynamic. Even if two parents are career oriented, there should still be somebody in a family or somebody that can properly educate your children, but we should give women and fathers more opportunities to spend more time with their children, and for women to be able to be protected so that they can raise their children. You know what I mean? Instead of having to submit to a system because they have to. You know what I'm saying? And even if there are some women that work and then there's some that don't, and they are more of the nurturers because every woman is different, I get it, but that still opens up an opportunity for our children to be more safe. So when I was in school, I went to a predominantly white school, and I noticed that there was there were cliques, as a lot of high schools have, but there was like a clique full of black people. Like all the black people in the school kind of had their own group, and they kind of had their own society. They all knew each other and whatnot. And I wouldn't say I was a part of a group. Like, I had my little friends, you know what I'm saying? I had my friend circle, whatever, but I knew everybody in the group. And I also I also observed that a lot of people who were in Edgenuity or had individual education programs, IUPs, or were in like speech classes or something, a lot of them were black. And then when we would be in the regular classrooms, they would separate us. Like, I'd be in straight junior year, you have assigned seats. Why are all the black people spread out? And it's not a lot of us, but it almost seemed intentional, the fact that they would put us in separate classes, and then when we were in the same classes, we didn't even have time to really talk amongst each other. So let me tell you something, this is intentional for sure. Because they need to be able to control us. They need to be able to control our minds so that they can stay in power. Okay, it's true. And also, what plays a part in this is the fact that a lot of our family dynamics are the same. A lot of us had single mothers as parents. A lot of us had fathers and also didn't have fathers. Like, my father passed away before I turned age 16, and a lot of people that was around me, their father was either absent, like their father didn't come around, or either their father was just had stuff going on and just wasn't in the home. And then there was, I'm not gonna stereotype it, there was some people, like I had a friend and she lived with her dad for the most part. Her dad took care of business and stuff like that. Definitely exists. But for a lot of us, our family dynamics shaped the way that we were able to move through school, the way that we were able to be motivated, the way that we were able to be to advance as people. You know what I'm saying? And there were times where black people would come together. Like in middle school, we had a step team, and it was all black women teachers, and it was really fun for us. You know what I mean? It was a lot of drama or whatever, but it was really fun, and it was really uplifting, and it really helped us be able to keep certain things together and feel like we had a community. You know what I mean? And we had something to look forward to when we went to school. And you know what I'm saying? High school, we didn't have none of that, for real. Anytime that we had black people come together, it was just about black excellence, quote unquote. And that's just talking about grades and being able to compete with white people. That's it. It wasn't about creating a brotherhood. It was not about creating a sisterhood. It was not about creating a safe space. It was not about relying on each other. It was about, well, it's a one man for itself, but we are competing with white people, so we need to make sure we have this, that. I never messed with it. I didn't mess with it at all. I mean, the leaders that were black people in high school, they were whack. Sorry, I didn't want to be nothing like them. And they were probably mentally brainwashed as well too. So, I mean, I know some kids that graduated and did well, and then I also know some kids that just didn't graduate, or either they went the route of getting their GED. And when I look back on it, like the one that dropped out didn't have a father and didn't have a mother either. You know what I'm saying? They just had their environment, and a lot of people, especially the white people in school, did not understand that. Even the black people sometimes did not understand that. You know what I mean? And then the kids that did graduate and go to college and stuff, you know, they had different support systems. They had the mother and the father. Even if they were separated, they had them both active in their lives. You know what I mean? So it definitely depends on your family dynamic, because that's the cards that you're dealt, basically. You know what I'm saying? So if we want to start coming together as a community, if we want to take back our power in our minds, we have to think open-mindedly. Even if you are that parent that does work and you don't have time to homeschool your kids, when you realize that you're in control, and when you open up your mind to the right community and think open-mindedly about things, think open-mindedly, you will find a way, and we will find a way to do it. But hear this message now. When they have your children and they're raising your children and they're controlling your children, we really not gonna get nowhere, because our children are our backbone, basically. We're gonna age, and then the generation after us is gonna be running stuff. We want it to get better, not worse, and we want to give our kids things that we did not have. So in order for them to even respect us, in order for them to start taking school shootings seriously, and in order for us to get our communities back, we have to not let them be in control of our children, period. And we have to stop ignoring the fact that this was intentionally done. Like, how did we get here? You know what I'm saying? How did we get here? We need to acknowledge the things that they did in the past, the laws that they made in the past, and stop ignoring it, and stop acting like, oh, okay, well, I can go out here and get a degree. I can go out here and do this. I can go out here and do that. So the white man not stopping me from nothing. I'm not telling you to be victimized by the white man, and I'm not telling you that you can't do nothing either. But we should be able to acknowledge the fact that what happened generations ago does affect us today, and we should be able to also acknowledge that we are not controlled and do not have to be controlled. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to, you can kill two birds with one stone. You know what I'm saying? So that's part 2. That's confirmation. Stay mindful. Get y'all kids out of this public school, okay? I'm not saying it's easy, but find a way. Private school, a private home school. There's different communities. But take a risk, you know what I'm saying, and find a way, because I'm telling you right now, this system, the school system, is failing our children, especially the black children, and we need to make a change and do better, period.